How do you guys? I'm Troubadour and welcome to Smite Season 8. It's finally here, I'm not gonna lie. It's highly anticipated by myself and entirely worth it. Season 8 be hella hype and overall the aesthetic is now so pristine and crisp it does bring a tickle to one's pickle. You may have noticed it has been a little while since I last created my King Arthur build and I do apologise about that, but I just wanted to make sure I have a firm understanding for Season 8 before I made any content on it, so that it would be accurate and hopefully you guys can get them sick clips, bruh. And first today we're going to tackle Izanami, the matron of the dead, as requested by you guys, and let's pretend that I'm not 3 months late.
Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street and I know it's my time to go. Going new and the search is a mystery.
So this build video is intended for people who are already somewhat familiar with Izanami. I'm not going to take it as basic as what I used to in Season 7. Instead it's going to be aimed at people who are looking to take a higher in competitive play, or at least kind of dominate within the early Season 8 meta. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the build. So, in Season 8 we have been granted many new starter items that lead on to greater items within later builds. However, for Izanami in particular, I believe there are 2 builds that can be very effective right now, and depending on the opponents you play, it should affect what style you go for. There are many other factors that also contribute to this, but at a surface level you have 2 primary routes. However, for both of these routes, your starting item will never differ, and it will be provided for you in the form of Death's Toll and then Death's Embrace. This is going to provide you with lifesteal and early attack speed, essential both in the early and late game. Very good starter item for Izzy. Thus we have the core items. The core items that consist within your build are going to be the Devourer's Gauntlet, Ninja Tabai and Atalanta's Bow. Devourer's Gauntlet is going to provide you with sufficient lifesteal to help you sustain from minions within lane, and even if things aren't going your way within the laning phase, you can always farm from within your tower, as the small amounts of lifesteal you get really combine well with Izanami's passive ability. Izanami's passive ability is, the closer she is to death, the more deadly she becomes. So not going back too much in the early game and trying to gain an extra level here and there is really critical. As soon as you hit that 75 stacks, the item is going to improve as well, making Devourer's Gauntlet's lifesteal absolutely essential within the early part of the match. Ninja Tabai is your boots option right now, as is the case with the majority of hunters within the game, due to the fact that the attack speed increase alongside the movement speed increase is sweet. You'll find a couple of hunters that maybe use Warrior Tabai, but for the most part you're going to be building Ninja Tabai. The final core item for you is Atalanta's Bow. Atalanta's Bow is a strong team item, as it increases your attack speed by 20% and decreases the movement penalty when using auto attacks by 30%. Getting a kill or an assist upon an enemy god will trigger this. This is great within team fights, as your overall spike here is insane, and it allows you to chase enemies with double the chance to hit, considering how Izanami's auto attacks travel twice and go through your opponent's hitbox twice. In theory, this will begin to happen more frequently when you build this item due to rotations. So it is a good time to construct it here, although be aware rotations differ in every game, but for the most part building Atalanta's Bow here is going to be very strong. Your core items for Izanami should always be staple to your build, and never really changed. The only change that may occur is an early form of anti-heal in duo lane. Say you come up against a carry support that are going to have mass amounts of healing, like a Cernanos and a Sylvanas combo for example. You might want to build a Toxic Blade early, or if you're going to be building a crit build, obviously you have Shadow Steel Shuriken, but there are options available to you. But for the most part, your core items are going to be staple and never really messed with. Right, so the foundations have been set. You've got your core items, but how exactly are you going to start to kick some ass as the ADC? Well my friend, your option with Izanami, firstly, is a crit and lifesteal build. The order follows: Rage, Shadow Steel Shuriken for true damage, and then in the late game, you sell your Ninja Tabai and replace it with a Wind Demon or ASI, depending on whether you want to flex further into lifesteal or if you want to get closer to the maximum critical damage ratio. Typically, I find myself going for ASI, as 2 crit items on Izanami is strong enough, due to the fact that her auto attacks have 2 chances of hitting your opponent, so your damage output is essentially doubled. Therefore having that lifesteal to help sustain you there a bit longer seems very useful to me. So in this particular build, I tend to build Rage first, in order to quickly rack up the stacks, and now due to the fact that it's even cheaper in Season 8 than it was in Season 7, it's so much easier to get it online and up and running. I then follow this up with the Shadow Steel Shuriken for bonus attack speed and anti-heal, as well as the crit chance it provides. It's a very strong item, especially when you flex into true damage. So that's that, your crit and lifesteal build. Feels very strong, it's fun to use, and yeah, I'd give it a go, see if you like it. Your other option, and other route to take, is a pure attack speed and power build. Now it's an alternative route, and by no means is it any worse or better. I'd say they're both very good, and you don't want to disregard any of them. Keep them on hand ready to use depending on who you come up against. This build consists of Kinsai and Odysseus bow, and then once more ASI. I'd say this particular build though is more relevant around a fairly tanky team that may include 2 guardians, a guardian and 2 warriors, or simply a mage that is a little more on the tank side, such as a Chonggae or a Zongqi in the solo lane, just to list a few examples for you all. The Kinsai in this build will provide relevant tank shred required in order to deal some real damage, and then the chain lightning from Odysseus bow really adds to the spice, you know, a little bit of spice on top, by hitting multiple opponents and being more of a threat now that your power is slightly higher. Finally, I do replace boots with ASI once more. I just think that lifesteal at the end there is really useful. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, guys. 2 Izanami builds roughly summarised in a brief analysis to provide you with the necessary tools required in order for you to decimate your opponents in Smite Season 8. I attempted a different style of build video for this season and approached it from a more long time player perspective, rather than being dedicated to, say, the newer viewers or newer opponents within the game. But don't be afraid to ask in the comments below or on my Twitter at TrueBloodOrc for further details. Hopefully you found this at least somewhat useful, even if you were to counterpick as an army in the future because you don't play her. It's just, honestly, thank you for watching and making it this far into the video. I just want to say a huge thank you for everyone's support, as I recently hit the milestone of 50 subscribers. While it might not sound like much, all of the love and support I received in order to get here has been crazy, and honestly I can't thank you all enough. In terms of what to expect, well, there's a few fellow YouTubers and streamers in my community you might begin to see more of. For example, I stream with, he's now known as Fenrir's Fang, over on his Twitch channel every Thursday morning, European time. So if you wanted to catch me on a Smite stream, you know, we'll be there. Once more, YouTubers like Benny, Dragalex or Kit Kilobyte hopefully will be showing once more again on my channel. They are all wonderful people, they upload and stream themselves. I'll put their links down in the description, be sure to check them out, show them love and support, because they've done so much for me. So I do apologise for a little bit of a tangent there, but I do think it was certainly a necessity to say thank you for 50 subscribers. Honestly, thank you all so much. And yeah, that's pretty much all from me, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, take it easy, dudes. I'll see you next time.